Hi everyone, welcome to She. I am so excited that you could join us today. And like I always tell you, I do my work. I get you solid guests every time. And this, like I said earlier, has been the best season. We're talking about pregnancy and motherhood, and I'm so excited to just walk with you this journey. So if you have friends who are going through this season, please make sure that they join us as we talk about everything to do with pregnancy and motherhood. Today on the show, we're starting off with fast trimester. You know that trimester where people go like, you know, you can't stand onions, you can't stand your husband's cologne, you just want to gag every time, you know, but there's also the excitement of, oh, now I'm expecting a little human, I'm growing a human, and everything that comes with it. And you know, we have two amazing ladies, and let me tell you, they are experienced. You don't want to miss out on everything that they have to share. And to start us off, I'll just ask our amazing guests to introduce themselves. I guess we'll start with you, Dawn.
Thank you, Faith. I'm Dawn Marie. Of course, I'm a mother, a mother of 5 at 39. I'm also a career woman. I'm marketing and communications profession, currently working in an audit firm.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And I love that you said you're a mother of 5, because that's a lot. You know, I was telling you guys earlier, already I feel like I have so many children because of people's reactions. You know, going like, you're expecting your 4th. So it's nice to hear that you're a career woman and you have 5 babies. Well done. And I guess you'll tell us a bit more about that even as we go through the show.
Most definitely.
Irene.
Irene. It's lovely to be here with you ladies. Also a mom. I usually say 4 sons and 4 daughters so that it lands softly.
Oh, before somebody does the math. Like, oh, okay.
Yes. Also, I'm an executive coach by profession. Oh, wow. Coaching leaders with the aim of growing great African leaders for the continent.
Oh, wow. I love that. And I guess you're coaching the babies as well, right? It's good training ground. 4 sons, 4 daughters.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're a bit more feminist, you can say 4 girls and 4 boys. Whichever you prefer.
Wow. You know, I love this because, you know, even as we start, it just breaks that mold of, you know, the fear of people thinking, you know, you just need to have 1 child or 2 children. And even before we delve into the first trimester, you know, every time you're thinking about having children, you think the economy and inflation and things like that. Maybe I should ask, what is your word? You know, like, what's that word that you have, you know, how do I put it? You know, like, what's that wisdom in your mind that has allowed you to have all those children? You know, like, you know, you're also in this country, Kenya, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I know people say, kila mtoto kuja na sahani yake. Is that your your motto? That's what you go by? Or what's behind that, you know, for both of you? And, you know, if you can go first.
For me, it may sound odd, but it's connection to eternity. And it's because I feel the only thing that really lasts is a human person. So there are so many things you could spend your energies on, many things you could, you know, purchase, even in the tough economy. And even then, when I was younger, I thought, why not invest in another human being that will connect to eternity? It was very motivating for me.
Oh, wow.
But I also dreamt of a big family when I was young. And in the 70s, it wasn't very odd to dream of a large family when I was growing up. So I used to think I want 12, 13. So no 8, I fell short.
Wow. And did you ever go like, am I serious? Like, how did I end up here?
I mean, sometimes I did say I'm crazy. And just say, okay. And I took a break after my 4th one just to think whether I'm serious. And I thought, no, I'm going back.
And then now you did another 4. Wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. How's it been for you, Dawn?
For me, I always thought I wanted, I also, in my dream, it was a big family, a big house, and many children running around. So obviously, I knew it was going to be many children, and for me in my mind it was either the education and the work first or the children first, because even work, my own dreams were among the dreams of the children. But after my firstborn came early, and I thought, why not finish this lap? Then now start focusing on more on my education, more on my career. But just the thought of having so many children, even as a young parent of one child, I'd always call my nephews and nieces into my house. Wow. And I was the kind of person who didn't mind being in a bus with like 6 children. I remember one time an old muse asked me, he looked at the children and he's like, this one I use, the rest are not. I told him, all of them are mine. Yeah. And yes, so my mind, large family, that's all I cared for.
And it doesn't overwhelm you, because so many guys are like, wouldn't you lose your mind in a house with just all these little humans? Does it overwhelm you?
Yes and no. Yes, and if I get overwhelmed, I have learned to breathe. And I don't think it's only children that overwhelms me. Yeah. I think everything else about
anything.
So the children, like for me, it is anytime I get home, it is mommy like 100 times. And at a point I tell them, okay, give mom a break. Just give me 5 minutes. I handle this, then you can call me again. Then they go quiet. I think they go quiet. Yeah. Then again they start.
Wow.
But I breathe. I go to my bedroom, come back, and I'm able to handle them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow. And I just wanted to hear it from my younger mom, because my children now are bigger. I have, let's see, 2 below 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the 17-year-old and the 13-year-old are the ones I call babies.
Babies, yeah.
So for me to recall how it was 30 years ago when I was having now my firstborn, I can remember definitely it being overwhelming, and those days there were no cell phones and distractions that you guys use sometimes to keep the kids away. So it was all human interaction. But my parents really supported, and I think grandmothers and grandfathers are really great. So they loved having them over the holidays for a week, and we would have time with my husband to do our own adult things without small people. So
which is
breaks,
important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so the breaks are nice.
Okay, that's good. So let's delve into the first trimester. How was it for you every time you found out you were expecting? Was it planned? Because you're talking about 5 and 8, were all the pregnancies the same? Was morning sickness the same? Is it that because you've had many, by the time you're on the second child, you're like, I can do this, smell onions or not, like, let's do this thing, I've done it too many times, or is it just new every time? Do you still look forward to the kicks? I don't know, I'm just curious. When it's many, does anything change? Is it different? I don't know what your experience has been.
Well, for me, no, each is different.
Yeah.
Each is different. It's I just don't know how to explain it, but I mean, if you're a mother of 1, it's very precious, that 1. If you're a mother of 16, the 16th is still precious. It's still very precious. And even the just doing that pregnancy test and seeing that it's positive puts butterflies in your stomach every time.
To the 8th one?
To the 8th one.
That's amazing.
The 8th one. And each comes, you see, in a different context. So sometimes maybe there are other things worrying you, your job, your employer, or, on your 4th one, I remember, and even delaying who you tell as compared to the first one. So I remember my 4th when I discovered, I got to now know I'm really expecting my fourth baby, the person I called was my youngest sister. Yeah. Because she loves kids. And I told her, okay, do you think my mother is ready to hear this? You know? But yeah, I think the thrill, and we would always celebrate somewhere with my husband to say, you know, we are going to meet somebody new in a few months. Yeah. It was always a very fascinating, up to the 8th one. Yeah, some circumstances, I must say, sometimes it's even just shock from your friends, criticisms in certain ways. So you have to be braver. Yeah, sometimes the economy is really bad, and you're looking like you don't know what you're doing.
Like you're living in your own bubble.
In my own bubble, yeah. So different circumstances, but by and large, the instinct is very exciting. And looking forward to seeing the face of that little one. Yeah.
So did you have some pregnancies that you were throwing up and others not? Or how was like the symptoms and things like that for you?
I always have a fairly tough first trimester.
Let me just interrupt you because, you know, so many times guys are like, I'm never going back because of how. So I can't believe like you went back 8 times despite the difficult first trimester.
But we say, I mean, the end in mind. I think it keeps you going because getting a morning sickness or a backache or whatever, it can't stop you from actually seeing the dream at the end. And I would have I would make fun of some things because I would I'd use a nappy. Now people don't know what nappies are. But I would fold a white nappy and specifically a nappy more than use a tissue or a, but specifically a nappy so that I can remember that that's what I'm working on, that the baby will come, and use it to spit, you know, because I needed that. And I would make fun, I would roll it into different shapes and that kind of thing.
Wow.
And then eat the things that would help. So it wasn't any sickness, any serious sickness, it's just the nausea for me.
Okay. But no headaches and
no headaches, no headaches at all.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I mean, my face and my hair would grow so long, would make up for that.
I look forward to pregnancies for that. The hair growing long and the skin getting so clear and just enjoying that glow and all that. So I hear you on that. Wow.
Dawn, I'd say all the 5, they've been absolutely different. Completely from the first to the last, and it's everything. It's my state of mind, it's my position in life, what I had expected. Like my firstborn, I was uncertain, but so excited because I was at a point I wasn't sure whether I should make this step to start babies now or, you remember I said I had my career, I had the babies. So I was not very certain on where to start. And I was telling God, I used to tell myself, where it starts, that is where I will start from. So the baby came, I was in my first job, and then I didn't know what to expect completely. My moods and personality changed. I became extra harsh and witty. And so But then
I'm laughing that hard because this pregnancy, that's how I've become. I'm like somebody else, you know, like just moody. The smallest things will irritate me, so I'm consoled.
So for that, and if you put that together, my assertiveness actually didn't keep my job. So I lost my job, and I was not even married then, or formally. We were putting up with my husband, and I told him this is what is happening. And what changed my mind to a very positive outlook of the situation was he said, we are in this together. And so I was like, yes, God, so this was the main. This is the right decision. So I went through that one. The first trimester for that particular one was not so hard. Of course, the smell, change in food a little bit fatigue, but it wasn't as much. My second born, I was in a very supportive work environment, very supportive. I think I should mention because they always care for mothers. I'm ref, and so they thought that I'm a mother, and at that time we were having a campaign on Stand Up for African Mothers. Yes. So I definitely got all the support. And this one now, like the nausea was much more. I think even the wittiness was more. I remember our team, and one day I just told him, that flask, don't bring to this office. And he didn't know. And he brought it again, and I went to my director, my boss, and told him, I've told the team are not to bring us these flasks. He's bringing them. So he called him and told him, young man, what has she said? Atiataki tamos. He's like, just do what she says. And then later on when he saw the tummy grow, then he's like, so this was the reason for all this flask drama. Business.
Flask drama.
Yes. So those are the boys. My eldest are boys. I think they were gentler on me.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, the boys were gentler on me. The girls, the first trimesters now are, I think, at every year, every next pregnancy, I think for me, I felt the first trimester was more, the nausea rather, not, mostly the nausea, because that was just, and the smell, I'd smell everything, nothing, everything was
smells bad, yeah.
But for the girls, it was more, and then, as I said, it was largely whether I was working and the work environment, how it was also affected me. Because my third born, that is now my first daughter, the work environment was not too, it was a bit flexible, so I was able to go on. I didn't even have to take leave. I went through it well. My third daughter, my second daughter, I was not at work, so I was home. I remember it was June, and at some point I thought it's the cold, because I'd get my blanket, sit in the couch the whole day, go back to bed, hate everything, not want to hear anyone cook, I don't know, choose what. I remember there's a week, 2 weeks, I only ate boiled maize, because that's all I wanted, just boiled maize. Then the last one, I'd want to mention the last one was not in my plan, rather. But I like to say this is a child that was given to me by God in so many ways, because the circumstances under which she came around. And I remember that year, my prayer for the year was, I had thought I've had the children, now I need to go back to my work and education. And I prayed to God specifically that these doors open. Remember my previous daughter, I was not working, so now this I was looking forward to working, and I had just gotten a job. They had just gotten a job. And so I was looking at putting all my best into this job and growing very fast and rapidly. And then now the baby comes, and I remember asking God, okay, so I have prayed, because I prayed, I fasted. I'm Catholic, I did a novena. So I did this novena, finished it completely well, very well. And then 2-3 months later, I find that I'm pregnant, and I'm like, okay, God. So I was praying. So this is what you brought to me. Myself as me, I was sort of in denial. But again, my husband, when I told him, he's like, it's okay. So at this time, more support was from him. The workplace was also very difficult for me. So I had to take like 8 weeks out of work completely.
Just focus on it.
Yes. Because I had been there before, and I knew this would pass, so it didn't scare me. And I had had children before when I'm not working, so I was not scared that tomorrow the bills and all that. I just told myself, and also, you know, I had prayed. So I was telling God, if it's difficult for me to work, it's a new job, it's difficult for me to work, I can't work, I'd prayed for something else, this has come, it is your will, so you'll know how everything will work out. So I just sort of like I took time. I took time because I started clinic at week 32.
Wow.
Whoa.
I didn't. Yes.
Week 32 is the end.
Yes, literally. Mark timing. I don't know what I was doing. Don't ask me. That is a pregnancy mind.
Wow.
I didn't buy maternity clothes. Funny. I
I
didn't.
used to get excited with maternity.
No, this time I didn't. My second born, I was a flowery, colorful, pregnant woman. But this one, we sort of like went to the last minute, and then I came around.
Wow.
And I was
still
afraid.
At week 32.
I was
Like
afraid that
your
my
must have been
daughter.
in shock.
Yes, but I was harsh also. You'd ask me questions, I'm like, no. I remember, you know the way they take the antenatal profile?
Yeah.
And I was giving the nurse, and you know the way those nurses can to be kind sometimes. And then she's like, okay, you have other children? Yes, I do. Give me the details. I give the firstborn. Secondborn. Then she thinks I'm ending them. Like, no, there's a third. Okay, she writes. Then she thinks I'm ending them. There's a fourth. And then she stopped and she asked me, and what were you thinking?
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, just take the profile.
Yeah.
Just take the profile.
Yeah, those comments can be something.
Yeah, so, and I was afraid that that particular daughter of mine might be, you know, the way you're told that what goes on in your mind when you're pregnant, it transmits to the child. And just when I was going for delivery, and I prayed and I told God, okay, please help me so that the child is not, that has not absorbed
These things.
And I'm very happy that she was born a very outgoing. She's not timid in any way. No, I was timid. She was not timid in any way. She's out there. She's her real her.
Babies.
So they're different. What I'm just saying, for each of them, I could write a full book of each. Very different.
And I'm just curious, you know, the first trimester also has a lot of this aspect of, was it planned? You know, so were your babies planned for? What else goes through a mother's mind at that time? I know you talked about the working aspect. You know, I was telling someone, like, in this specific pregnancy, I felt like hibernating. You know, you just want to cover yourself with a blanket and sleep, you know, and that didn't happen for my other pregnancies. You know, so how have you managed, whether it's planned or not, with work, you know, and just the whole experience, you know, that you're not sick, but there are all these sickly symptoms of even just wanting to sleep, you know, because there could be a young woman watching, and it's her first child, and she's like, gosh, you know, I want to continue working, there's my career and things like that, or you're already working, you know, so you won't quit, you know, so how do you manage that fatigue? You know, do you sleep the whole day at work? You know, how do you manage that? I just want to hear from
that's
you.
a good one, Faith, because precisely in that first trimester, it's not showing. And yet, that's probably the time you're most fragile.
Yes.
You're trying to adjust, but it's not showing. So people are wondering, why are you so fussy? And but so it's I think the first thing is, to me, was the acceptance and being able to have those little conversations at home with my husband, who is the first one to know. And then slowly, whether it's planned or not, once you are happy with it and you're looking forward to the baby, it's easy now to talk about it to other people. Because I think the sooner you talk about it, the more you get the empathy and understanding that, you know, I need to just take a break at 10 o'clock and go and just sit by myself. Whether I doze or whatever I do, but just sit by myself. Because those habits are not understandable to someone who doesn't know that you're expecting. So coming out with it and just just saying that, yes, I'm carrying a baby and I'm excited. So that the introduction of your baby to the world is positive. You know, it's not, oh, I'm expecting, it wasn't planned, I'm just so, you know. So come to terms with it, be happy with yourself, know that you're carrying this baby and you're going to love the baby eventually once you see the baby. And just introduce them to the world in a very positive way. It will help you. And it will help the people around you also. Did
you feel like some of your children were unplanned for?
I knew I wanted a big family, but the pace was different.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, by maybe providence, God's providence, I have had my children every 2 years. So, yeah, it wasn't that I said precisely this is the time I'm ready. I knew I would want the baby at some point, but it was exactly 2 years. And then I paused after the fourth one for about 5 years. Yeah, so that one was, you could say then it was planned.
Yes.
That let me take a break, and then from there now start again. So now you start again by being open to it, but you don't know at what point it will come. Yeah, but it was very, very exciting. And in the first half, I had 3 girls and 1 son. So I was looking forward to adding some more boys.
Yeah.
And I got 2 boys in a row, actually 3 boys in a row, and then a girl to close. Yes, so I have now 3 boys and a girl on the other half. Yeah, but yeah, some are not planned, but what I knew is that I want the children.
Yeah.
So if they come a bit early, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm so tempted to ask because you've talked about having 4, and it's just me being curious because, I just have boys. People say that it's easier, like if you've had girls, and then you have a boy, like there's a culture shock, or it's easier handling boys once they're older than girls. I don't know, but maybe just give us a snippet on how that is and how to prepare for both boys and girls. Even in that first trimester, because those 9 months could look like they're dragging, but they also move quickly.
They do move quickly. I agree. They move quickly, and I think it's. Well, in terms of a young mom's joy, especially when I'm happy I started with the girls. No offense to your boys. But just with the variety of doing silly things that moms like, the dressing, the colors, the variety of all that.
Yes.
So in that aspect, you could say baby girls are more expensive, quote unquote, even when they're small. Just from the variety of things that you want to do their hair, you can do, So that, yes. And then in terms of personality, their personalities show up very, very early. Very early, yeah. They are more assertive from a very young age. They know what they want from a very young age. The boys are very close to us for a very long time, and actually it's the mom to make the effort to tell them, move away now, what can you do by yourself, So they can cling to us for much longer, which is really nice. It's really nice,
true.
Yeah. But you have to deliberately say, okay, now you tie your own laces, dress yourself.
And girls will easily just...
they want to do it. They'll even push. They'll say, I don't want to wear that, I don't want to wear this. The boys will come dress me. They're happy with it. Yeah, that's about the first 5 years.
That's interesting. How has it been for you?
You're saying the girls are more expensive? Okay, maybe on the hair part, but when I have to do shopping, my eldest is now 13, and he has a choice of, I want this trouser, I want this shoe, I want this, I want this. And normally his outfits, complete outfit alone is like my 3 daughters all together.
Yeah, well, I guess when boys are older, men's clothes cost more.
Way.
Yeah.
Like his shoe alone is
I can imagine.
My daughter's shoes, all the 3 plus, and I've only bought him a pair of shoes. When it comes to showing up personality, yes, actually I agree. The girls show personality, their personality way earlier. Yes, as she said, they're more assertive, and they tend to be more sure of what they want, who they are, the directions they want to go, way earlier. Because, if I look at my kids, my boys came first, and then there's a bigger gap between the boys and the girls, even the first and the second boy, then now the girls. The girls are the younger ones, right now the boys are older. So that is how my split happened. It's just a 3-year split. But I can see, what my girls can do now is what my older boys are doing, and even better. The girls are doing better, at least when it comes to, even in school work, I think, homework, choosing their clothing, because they choose like uniform, putting together the uniform. You see now, like, because there are many, for me, I have taught them to sort of like learn how to take care of themselves.
Of course.
So in the evening, these are your chores, X, Y, Z, do this, do this. Before you go to sleep, make sure all your uniform is there, all of it, everything. My eldest son, even up to the time he was in grade 7, I'd still have to come and check and find that he's missed out some items, socks. And you know, there's a few, because there's it's just the short, the socks, the shirt, and the vest, maybe the sweater. For the girls, there's the panty, the stocking, the vest, the blouse, the dress. These are how many dressing items? Almost like 7, and they never miss out anything as compared to the boys they'd keep. But my second one is very, very meticulous. So but I think that one is a very specific character to that boy. So
it's a second one thing.
Yes.
You
could write a book.
You can relate to the order.
Yeah, but maybe just to get the record now from higher up. Because her firstborn is 13. That's my last one. It does change. Yeah, it does change.
With different seasons.
Yeah, it does change later when they are a bit older. And now each personality comes out, really. So there'll be a boy who is more orderly than a girl. There'll be one who is more decisive than the other. So the gender becomes more miscellaneous, and the personalities comes out. Yes, character comes out when they are older. Yeah.
And if we're to speak to, you know, a young woman or old woman, really, whatever age it is, and they're in their first trimester or planning to have children, if you look back to your first trimester, is there anything you wish somebody told you, A, and B, is there something that if you went back, you know, you would do different? You know, like you look back, you're like, if I went back in my first trimester, I would do this, right? You know, like I'll tell you for sure, just in this pregnancy already, because I'm in my second trimester, I hope I look it, in my first trimester, like I kept having this desire to sleep, which didn't happen in my first. You know, then I'd be like, have I become lazy? Am I older? What's happening? So I would try my best not to. I would try my best not to fall asleep all the time. Of course, sometimes it's, you know, like it's beyond your control and you end up blacking out. But I'd just be like, you know, I don't like sleeping during the day. Why do I feel like sleeping, you know? And now when I look back, I'm like, I should have just slept, you know, just pick up that blanket at 1 p.m. after your lunch and just, you know. So are there things you wish somebody told you when you were starting out or in every first trimester? And is there something you would do different if you went back, if you were given first trimester again?
Personally, yes. It's a while ago, and maybe a few things are better even now, just naturally without the mom making an effort.
Yes.
Like the clinics are more pleasant, and you have more choice in terms of the gyna that you'd see. So there definitely, I would not have a toxic gyna.
You know, you have a toxic gyna?
Yes, in the beginning, she took me through my first baby, and I'm very grateful. But she had very strong opinions for my second baby, and thought it's too soon. And I mean, things that I honestly think were not hers to say.
Yeah.
And was already recommending tube ligations and that kind of thing. And I was just on 2, and I'm a very young, fragile person. So you feel like you'll cry after that, or comments on your outfits when you get in, you know. So I think the gyna, is some. I changed. I changed in my second trimester. I changed gynas and kept the one I got till my end. But it's somebody. It's a very significant person.
I think so.
At that point.
I think so.
So it's important to really select well. And then I would also take my vitamins more religiously.
That's a good point. Thanks you when you're nursing.
It really
your
helps
hair won't fall off,
exactly.
and your teeth and your knees and all that.
I think so. And then to really have that positive energy even more. I mean, now that I'm older, I know that people they really don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time you think people really care, really think, oh my, another pregnancy. So you're so self-conscious. But really, people give you one look and move on to their own.
And forget. Immediately they look away.
I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
Because then I would have just lived my life.
Yeah. I remember for my first pregnancy, someone telling me, I'm as huge as an elephant. Those were her words. And she's like, gosh, you haven't delivered already? And I remember that bothered me for so long, you know, and, you know, you're carrying a human, it's fine. Like, you know, if I carry huge, you know, like, now it wouldn't bother me as much. But I remember for my first child, and like you're saying, I was young, like, you know, it just bothers you. And it's funny enough, like probably she walked away and forgot. And you're there holding on to that for years, you know. So I agree with you. And I also love that you talked about the gyna, because I think that chemistry is so important. And I think, especially if you're married as well, like the chemistry even with your husband as well, you know, so then you can all be in a good space, comfortable to ask all these questions and all that. And, you know, I'm a Google person, you know, like I'll spend a lot of time Googling all these things. So when I go to the doctor, I have all these questions. And I'm so glad that he's patient to just listen, you know, so I hear you on that. But I can't believe she would comment about your clothes.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But also in addition, that is the husband, the husband bit.
Yeah.
Or whoever is supporting you at that time, because we can't assume everybody is lucky to have the husband who is there for you. But really, I know there's a lot of talk nowadays of feminine energy and all that. I think that's the time to really just exude it and not to feel you can't ask, you know, move this for me, whether it's in the office, but a lot with your husband, just to just allow him to do more
and take care of you,
to take care of you, and to take care of you.
I'd speak to the career women because I think in first trimester, a lot of my challenges came from the thought of how to balance work and now this new baby coming. And I've seen many young mothers, even where I've worked, there's the fear of coming, just talking and saying, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And you find that obviously first trimester, whether you like it or not, sometimes if it's going to slow you, it will slow you.
It will slow you down.
When the sleep comes, it will come, no matter how much you try. If you can't stand some food, if you hate a certain sitting position, no matter how much you try, I was like in my head. So for me, I'd say, just to echo one, go to eat, don't care what anyone thinks or says. You're a mother, you have probably chosen to keep this baby. We encourage you to choose to keep the baby.
Yes.
So, and just handle it. Tell your boss, tell your HR, or even confide with an older person whom you feel understands within the organization. This is what is happening and this is how it's taking me. And then once you have done that, you have played your part. Next, how they choose to take that information and treat you should not bother you. But I would also encourage them not to stay in a toxic, even work environment, because
it hurts,
for me, in my fifth child, the delay to even go to the hospital, you said you feel like hibernating. I hibernated. I actually did hibernate, was mainly because of the job place. It was not even anything around me or my husband, or it was the job place. And I remember, yes, I did open up to my boss. I thought he'd taken it positively. He didn't. They didn't take it positively. Mine was like the first pregnancy in that young organization, so they also didn't know how to handle anything. Yes, so, but I went. I actually took no pay for 2 months. you know, there's anything that you could think could go wrong might, in my mind then, might have gone wrong. But I'm here. The baby is up, is grown. I am back at work in a different, yes, you know, I'm back. Financially, I'm also stable, as it were. So don't be afraid. For me, I'm just telling that young lady, don't be afraid. If you have to take a break, it will be okay. If you have to talk to someone, it will be okay. That is basically what you need. You don't need to blame yourself. You don't need to think about what anyone is thinking about you. You just need to, it's you and your baby, your well-being and your happiness.
Wow. Thank you for that. So encouraging. And I remember once someone telling me, you know, that even when you have to tell your boss or somebody at work, you don't say it like an apology. You don't be like, I'm so sorry. I just found out I'm pregnant. You know, it's not something to apologize about. And yes, seek the support you need, whether it's your spouse, whether it's family, just people to support you. Let them pull the chair for you, tie your shoelaces, you know, when you can't, you know, tie them up and all that. And thank you so much for sharing so openly about the first trimester. And I pray if you're at home, you know, watching this and, you know, you're having this baby by yourself or with a spouse or whatever situation it is, maybe with your spouse, you're not agreeing, you know, or you're just wondering, should I keep this baby? So yes, please keep this baby. We are pro-life. And also just know that God, most of all, is your Heavenly Father and is walking with you this journey. And it's going to be all right, even though you can't stand to eat anything. She talked about eating maize for 2 weeks, and that's fine, you know. And I think this is good testament that, you know, you could carry this baby to full term, and you will, even though it's going to be your 8th one, your 5th one, you know. I think this is just testament that, you know, it's going to be okay, and one day you'll have older children and talk about it in the past, and, you know, it's just a testimony and a blessing through and through, and that's what babies are. So this has been She. We've been talking about the first trimester. Please keep it with us through this season as we go through the 2nd, 3rd, and everything else to do with pregnancy and motherhood. God bless you, and see you next time right here on She.